Guys, I want to show you a super cool project that Mopar and Stellantis are bringing to the SEMA show in Las Vegas 2024. And it's this. It's a Plymouth GTX Electra mod. And it's a, yes, it is what it sounds like. It's an electric powertrain in a classic car. And to kind of walk around it and help me learn what it is, I have Matt here. Hey, Matt.
How's it going? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so I'm usually not a classic car guy. I mean, I love classic machines, but I sometimes don't know all the details. So I want your help kind of like, you know, show us, you know, the design of it.
Absolutely.
And then we can look at some of the, you know, the powertrain aspects of it as well.
For sure.
So this is a 67, right?
Yep, correct. It's a 1967 Plymouth GTX. There's a lot of stuff that we've done to this car. There's a lot of carbon elements here or there. Front of the car, totally unique hood, carbon inner and outer. We have these nice quad heat extractors, frostbite blue paint, satin black stripes. The front
and it
bumper,
looks, yeah. I mean, if I was walking up to this car, it almost looks just production. I mean,
yeah, that was the intent.
You know, it looks really like, you know, really well fitted and really nicely done.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously when you're doing an old car, you don't want to take away the soul or the character of the original car. So we wanted to try and respect the original lines of the car as much as possible and try and keep things as true to what, you know, fans of this car would remember.
All right, and the grille, you kind of blacked it out a little bit here.
Yep, so we've taken the chrome out. We've added some of the vintage bronze accents. We pulled those from the wheels. So we have these unique LED headlights with like a horizontal DRL. Lines up really nice with the grille. We've shaved and tucked the bumpers, pulled them in really tight. And we've got a carbon fiber front splitter that's unique to this car as well.
Well, I think it looks really, really sharp. And you mentioned the wheels. Obviously, they're unique to this particular car build.
Yep, correct. These were custom built for this car, unique offsets. They're 18x9 BTG forged magnesium wheels, so they're super lightweight.
Alrighty, and let's take a look at the interior, and then we can talk about powertrain. Let's open this up really quick. Yep. I love kind of resto mod look and, you know, chassis, and this is kind of what the interior is about, right?
Yeah, same philosophy as the exterior. We didn't want to make it unrecognizable to what the original car was. So everything that we've done to this to modernize it, we still want to respect, you know, the vintage car aspects. So we do have a completely new steering wheel that we designed for this. It's a nice flat bottom wheel, a little more grippy. So it's modern, but it still pays respect to some of the old wheels that Mopar has done. We've got a nice floating Omega M right there in the center. Totally unique center console for this.
And the little transmission shift, you know, drive reverse.
Correct, yeah, the rotary dial shifter. So we pulled that from Durango, and the cup holders we actually pulled from a Grand Cherokee, a new Grand Cherokee.
Okay.
And then we have armrest storage in there. And another neat thing about the console is the end cap on the back of the console.
Hold on, let's move the seat. Can you help me? Yeah. Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, so Mopar used we used a lot of the same parts for a lot of different cars, and that end cap, if you're a fan of old Mopars, you'll probably recognize it. So we tried to reuse as many of the original parts as we could, and that's a good example. So it may be a completely new part, but we tried to integrate some of the originals. And
also the part between the rear seats, right?
Yeah,
up there.
Correct. Yeah, so the GTX would typically have a badge there, so we've made a nice little plaque there that has a silhouette of the car, just a nice artistic gesture.
That's really cool. Can you put the seat back? I kind of want to sit in it one time.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I want to get kind of like the experience of this car. Oh, yes. I love how big the steering wheel is still, even though it's a little bit flat here. But that's kind of like the old car feeling, right?
Yeah, correct.
The steering wheel is large.
It's all about the proportions. You know, you put a modern wheel, it may look too small. So we tried to keep the original feel of the car.
And I love how clean the dash is. I mean, the gauges is very simple and just kind of easy to understand. Beautiful. But now, even the headliner, everything is done like super, super nice. Can we pop the hood?
Yeah, for sure.
Because we gotta talk about the electro mod part of this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Aha! Is that a big supercharger?
No. But and to the same point as everything else, you pop the hood. We wanted it to look familiar. It's definitely new. You walk up to it, if you're familiar with engines, something's different.
Yeah, totally.
We don't want it to look so foreign. So we just wanted it to feel at home under the hood.
Yeah, I love your, the plaque that you incorporated here, designed Auburn Hills, built in, in your garage. So the whole idea is, right, and I am one of these people too. So I'm working on a project. I have a 4x4 van that I'm trying to repower, right? And I always, kind of torn, right? Do I go with an old V8? Do I put an electric powertrain into it? There's of course pluses and minuses to both, but this is kind of a look into the future to say, you could do this, right?
Yeah.
You could do this yourself.
And it's all about options. If Mopar sells a wide range of accessories and we still sell crate V8. So it's all about options and what's best for the customer.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make this approachable. So we didn't want to make it so outlandish that it doesn't seem reasonable for the average person to do their retrofit in their garage.
So here's some specs. I tried to memorize a few. So the electric motor is really hidden kind of underneath here, and it's in the front. It's 335 horsepower electric motor, about 310 pound-feet of torque, and it's a 400 volt architecture.
Correct.
And I don't know where the charging port is.
Charge port.
Maybe we can show it in the back.
Yeah, it's in the back in the same location the original fuel filler was. It's a nice billet piece that we designed for this
we'll
car.
show it in a second.
Yep.
But there's a drive shaft from this electric motor going back.
Correct.
So it's a rear-wheel drive car.
Correct.
So
Still has a solid rear axle. Yep.
Yeah, so it has that familiar. So if you're building this yourself, you don't have to throw out your axle in the back, right? You don't have to throw out your drive shafts.
Correct.
You can kind of incorporate some of these pieces.
Yeah, and it's all part of making a build like this attainable for the everyday person building their car.
Or somebody like me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look. Because the batteries, there's several of them, right?
Yep. We have one right here in the front. You can kind of see this carbon case underneath these little radiators.
Oh,
right
this
here.
guy.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's one battery in the front, and we have 3 in the trunk.
And total kilowatt hours is about 73. I was looking at the spec sheet.
Yep.
About 73 kilowatt hours. Wow, I love the structure.
Yeah.
It looks really kind of cool. Wow, a lot of high voltage cables.
Yep.
Just throughout. And this is a fully functioning. You could drive this.
Oh yeah, we have
car.
driven it. I've driven it myself. Yeah.
Okay.
So this chassis was designed essentially. There's like a panel underneath where you could just drop the battery case out for down the road if you need to replace batteries. They're very heavy, so it just makes it a little bit easier to replace batteries.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, people can make their own decisions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to remove the rear seats, maybe there's some areas there you can incorporate into batteries.
Correct.
To put batteries. Maybe, the fuel tank area, you can incorporate that. And the charge port is on this side, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's our nice billet door that we designed.
So basically, this is a car you take out on the weekends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of built as kind of like I'm trying to imagine, how would somebody use a car like this? It's probably a show vehicle or something.
Show vehicle, weekend cruiser.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't build this to be a drag race car or anything. It still has plenty performance, but it was definitely meant to be like the traditional everyman cruiser classic car.
So is Mopar selling some of these components right now, or is it just kind of a look into the future?
It's a look into the future right now.
Okay.
We do have, if you're at the booth in SEMA, we do have surveys to kind of get people's opinions on things. So, things are still open for discussion, but we are looking.
Yeah, and I think the important part is pricing, because we did a project. We had a pickup truck from 1965 that we electrified at TFL Truck, and it was expensive. This was 2.5 years ago. The batteries were difficult to get because there weren't a lot of people doing this. Components were expensive, but
right.
Something like this, when you create, volume, if more people want this, I imagine the pricing comes down, right?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, battery technology is always changing, and some of the questions we're trying to get a feel for on customers is if we were able to offer a kit, would you like the batteries to be included, or would you like to source your own? I mean, there's so many different options that may be different for your specific application that some people may want to buy a kit without that. And obviously that would impact pricing. So as far as what we're looking at for a general range, I mean, I don't have that number, but
well, I think the spec sheet said about 250-ish. 250 miles is plenty to go to like a show in your next town, you know, cruise down the beach or the coast or, you know, whatever you want to do, right? So 250 miles with 75-ish kilowatt hours. It sounds good for the purpose of this car.
Yeah, I have a classic car, and you know, about the most I'll put driving on a weekends, maybe 60, 70 miles going to and from a show. So
yeah, and also the devil is in the details usually, right? It's the electrical tuning, you know, how the motor delivers its power. So I'm sure you've done a lot of work. You know, at least Mopar has done a lot of work about how to tune this system, because the devil is always there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's been a lot of iterations with tuning, and you know, things aren't necessarily there. There's always tweaks and improvements to be had.
Well, Matt, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing this.
Glad to be here.
And are you going to be at SEMA also?
I will. I'll be on the show floor.
All right, so I'll see you there. So just in a couple of weeks or a week maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.